What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, I've been thinking a lot about some problems that Warframe has, and just wanted to talk about an idea that I have for some more loot that we could definitely be getting for some more evergreen rewards in the endgame situations that a lot of us veteran players are in nowadays. If you remember my Orokin Ascendancy Core video from like last year where I suggested a way to upgrade primes with new talent trees and stuff like that, it's similar to that, but it's a lot more simple this time. Definitely more accessible to help spice up the game and to spice up Baro Katir, because I think Baro Katir has definitely fallen from grace a lot. He used to be extremely exciting every time he showed up, but now our bi-weekly Void Vendor is pretty much just bringing random floofs and Prex cards. So, we're going to talk about the PRISMA FORMA idea today, and hopefully, it sparks some, creative juices for you to think about other things that might be interesting in this game. Maybe if somehow this became an idea that people liked, more people would talk about it, and potentially DE would get wind of it, and since a content creator thought the idea would never happen, since the community would think that it's a good idea, maybe DE would implement it. Probably not, though. Alright, let's just have some fun in Theorycraft, and, just nerd gush about Warframe and how some cool things could potentially happen. So, let's start off with the first problem that I feel like is happening, and that's honestly that Baro is boring now. Baro Katir, the guy who shows up every other week in the relays or in a relay, he used to be bringing new, like back in the day when I started playing Prime Continuity. See, look at these are like the really old mods here, sorted by recent: Prime Flow, Prime Continuity, Prime Heated Charge, Prime Point Blank. Look at how old these are. This is like the exciting stuff he was bringing way back in the day. Nowadays, you look at the new stuff he's bringing, and, a lot of these have been like ranked up and stuff. We got Prime Magazine Warp, the most recent one. Magazine size for rifles. Not exactly groundbreaking material right here. We've got Prime Tactical Pump. This was actually pretty good for shotguns. And these are just Prime mods. I'm not going to really complain about a Prime mod, to be honest. But, a lot of the stuff is not as exciting. Prime Quick Draw, reload speed for pistols, not really getting used that much. Prime Pack Leader, complete meme. So like this is what I'm talking about. Baro is a lot less exciting, and I'm not even going to go into my decorations collection, where it basically feels like every visit he shows up. So if you didn't know this about Baro Katir, he's supposed to bring an item he's never brought before every single visit. That's basically an agreement that DE made when they first introduced Baro. Every time he shows up on PC, he will have a new item. So that puts the bar really high. Think about it like that. That means he could bring Prime Streamlined at the best item possible. He could also bring a K-Drive scroll that's recolored from a previous one he already brought. So that's kind of like what we're looking at here. And I feel like to make Baro Katir more exciting, they could add a new evergreen reward. And that's going to be PRISMA FORMA. Just quickly showing some of these decorations that he's brought, because there's just so many of them. Like this Asra Luxem ornament. Okay, I guess that exists. Sure. And he's got other stuff too, like Prex cards. They dragged up the Prex cards for a long time. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to say here is like this stuff. I think it's the most recent decoration he brought, the Phos Floof. It's cool. It's too bad this isn't a gigantic boss fight and instead of a stuffed animal. But yeah, so the idea is PRISMA FORMA. Now bear with me on this one. So what sometimes is a problem when you have a really maxed out build that's specifically min-maxed into one area? Well, it might be that since the mod drain on some of those mods is so high that you might actually run out of mod capacity, decreasing the flexibility for other builds. So let's look at this Plague Star build for Nova right here that I'm messing with. So I've got, Resonator on here, doesn't need any strength, doesn't need any, doesn't really need much of anything, just needs really high range. So we've got range, duration, prime flow, rolling guard. I could technically form with this some more, but that might pigeonhole me into only being able to run a specific type of build. Let's look at this Speed Nova one right here. Only one capacity remaining. The Fast Fissure build, 0 capacity remaining. Now I technically could forma stuff, but look at this. If I was to depolarity forma this for the Plague Star build, that potentially would make it so I can't fit on the escape velocity mod in this slot. It decreases your possibilities the more that you min-max into your build in some situations, because there's different polarities of mods, of course. a lot of people have wanted universal forma polarities. And what I mean by that is it's very similar to the aura mod. I mean, it's basically already coded in the game. So let's just go ahead and remove some mods from one of these builds just so we can show what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to remove the Heart of Deimos build because I'm not really using that anymore. So let's take a look here. So since I have an aura forma on my Nova Prime, we can see up here, this is a universal polarity. I can put any X-list mod I want up here, and it will be basically working, giving us the either for aura mods, it gives you double capacity, but let's say if this was a universal polarity for these other slots, it would give you half capacity on any mod you put in there. My idea to make Baro more exciting and make it so every visit from Baro actually matters is to make a new PRISMA FORMA item. Now, what this would be, it's basically going to be a PRISMA FORMA blueprint. You can buy one per visit, so, you know, it would be similar to Umbra Forma. Almost as rare, actually, it would be less rare than Umbra Forma, but it would be useful in different situations than compared to Umbra Forma. So, PRISMA FORMA from Baro, I'm going to talk, these prices are subject to change, but my idea is 500 ducats, so 5 gold prime parts to buy this blueprint from him. He's guaranteed to have it every visit, and you can buy it once per visit. So you buy the PRISMA FORMA blueprint for 500 ducats and 1 million credits. So it's a big investment for some people. I mean, it's not a big investment for people who have played the game for a long time, but 1 million credits and 500 ducats, I feel like that's appropriate to expect the people to farm in 2 weeks. And if you get that that PRISMA FORMA blueprint, and who knows what the build requires to be, like maybe 5,000 Kuva, 5 Argon crystals, make it like an actual like hard thing to build. It will let you have that universal polarity on your actual normal mod slots. I feel like that, for me, that would make Baro more exciting, and I wouldn't be just like bummed out when he doesn't have a new Prime mod, doesn't have a new Prisma weapon. He's got another floof. He's got the little duck floof. Like, oh boy, yep, you're right, D. You got me. I didn't think you'd make the little duck floof. All right, that Baro week is wasted. That's kind of how Baro feels to me right now, as someone that has followed what he's bringing for a long time. So I really feel like something like that, a evergreen reward that's not required. You don't have to have the universal Prisma polarity on your frame, and I feel like capping it to 1 per frame would be kind of boring. So maybe don't cap it to 1 per frame. If someone wants to go and make every polarity slot on their favorite frame the universal polarity, go for it. But something I forgot to mention, I'd say make the universal polarity not work for Umbra polarities though. If you want to make an Umbra build on your frame, you're going to need to actually Umbra Forma it. I feel like that's fair because they've already made an economy behind Umbra Forma where it's going to require Steel Essence, it's going to require Nightwave progression, however else. I don't think that's the only way you get Umbra Forma nowadays. Or I guess Twitch drops too. So if you want to make the most crazy build ever, you technically could. You would just need to have like 10 Prisma Forma. That would take a lot of weeks and a lot of ducats and a lot of credits. But at the end of the day, you would be probably the only person with the 10 Prisma polarity, Wukong Prime or, Lavos or Lavos Prime, whenever he comes out. Because by the time you get all those Prisma Forma, maybe Lavos Prime already did come out. Because it's going to be, something that makes people log into the game more. It refreshes a vendor that is definitely a little bit outdated. Like, Baro, he has good stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. You can go to Baro. You can buy Prime mods to resell. You can buy boosters sometimes. I don't really think those are worth the value. But you see what I'm saying. Like, he has value. But for players like me who just basically are looking for the new stuff and aren't really looking to, like, flip Prime mods or anything like that, he is really, really lackluster nowadays. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Let me know how you feel about it down in the comments. I will be interested. Like I said, the prices of how much it would cost is subject to change, but the general gist of it is a universal polarity forma that you can buy from Baro Katir once per visit that costs 500 ducats, 1 million credits, and is probably a little bit annoying to farm. Maybe it takes 1 fully built forma, 5 Argon crystals, 5,000 Kuva, and then some other, like maybe some, Hexanon or something like that. That's what I think would be really interesting. If you want to, I'm going to actually link in the description the Auric and Ascendancy Core idea I had from last year to make Prime Warframes more exciting and more customizable. Because one of the things I like about this game, and the reason I like Riven so much, is because I feel like my Riven mods are unique to me. I know they're not, technically, because you can get the same roll on Rivens. But when I see my Riven, I'm like, oh, I have the Riven for the Shadu with crit chance, multi-shot damage minus zoom. Oh man, my Shedu is my Shedu. Like, I feel like I've put some work into that, even though Riven rolling is complete garbage and RNG stupidness. I feel like that's my Shedu. No one has the same Shedu build I do because of my Riven. I feel like things like that is what, you know, differentiates players from each other. Of course, Fashion Frame also does that, so there's some merit in that as well. But that's why I get interested in these kinds of things. It's because I feel like my profile is unique because of how I built something. And I feel like Prisma Polarities and Universal Polarities is another step in the right direction for that. So let me know how you guys feel about it. Maybe you think it's a stupid idea. I just think that Baro could use a nice little refresh. And I haven't done a video like this in a while. And I do enjoy doing these types of things. So either way, guys, take it easy. Peace.